Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of What the Bow. I'm your host, Richard,
And Krista?
and we are going to talk about tonight about the announcement that Disney just made. And I don't know, it's a little bit stickler. It's kind of a sticky topic, but oops, my fault. Let me just start with the question with Kristen right now to you, Kristen. Um, what do you think about the announcement that Disney made about the mask mandate that has been lifted?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, they said that people who are not fully vaccinated should still wear their masks. But how are we gonna know?
E- e-
Like
exactly. That's what I
there's
was
no way
gonna
to
say.
track it.
How do you try? Like, how do you? Everyone's gonna walk in there without a mask, basically.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Like I mean, only the people that are on their good honor system would say, "Yeah, I'm still gonna wear my mask." And there's still gonna be people that are fully vaccinated and they'll still wear their mask as well. But I don't know how you're going to drop the mask mandate and still ask people to wear it if they're not vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do have the posting from Disney, and they're doing this till Thursday, February 17th, and I quote unquote the all face covering it will be now optional for fully vaccinated guests in both outdoor and indoor locations, except Disney transportations, including Disney buses, monorails, and Skyline. So, again, like you just said, like it's gonna have to run off an honor system. What do you think is gonna happen if let's say I get in that bus and now I come home and oh crap, unfortunately, let's just say hypothetically, okay, I get COVID. What am I gonna do? Like, I want to trace that back to Disney. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's one of those at your own risk situations. It's one of those where you know going into it that there's a good risk of getting COVID, if anything, because you are in a highly populated area. Now there is no real mask mandate, I guess you could say. So there's a higher risk of people bringing COVID in that are asymptomatic and spreading it because they're not wearing a mask and they're coughing for one reason or another, or they're sneezing for one reason or another. But
Right.
it's a very at your own risk, at your own knowledge of knowing this situation where you can't really blame Disney for it because you're the
Right.
one walking into it.
Right. I mean, I kind of thought about it. I mean, when we were at we were at Epcot this weekend, and
Hmm.
I mean, even outdoors, we didn't have a mask on. Only when we went indoors, they were kind of like, "Put your mask on." It wasn't bad. We were good about it. We were cool about it. We weren't upset by it. But I think when I got to Disney Springs, I don't think you heard him. When we were at Disney Springs, and I was in the what's that one place? Um, Emirates, is that what it is?
Hmm.
Yeah, we're at Emirates, and I was waiting for my crepe, my strawberry crepe, and the lady was noticing that people were walking in without masks, so they had to send her through the line and remind people, like, please put your mask on, put your mask on. And there's one guy right behind me. I kid you not. He's like, can't wait for the shit's over.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not against it. Like, if I have to wear it, I'll wear it. If I choose to wear it, I'll wear it. It's not anything where I'm completely against it, and I'm not going to say anything negative about a mask or anything like that. Again, if you're going to be going, you have to adhere to the rules that are there. You can't really complain about something walking in knowing what the rule is.
Exactly. You have to follow the rules to play the game.
And that's what it is, unfortunately. I mean, you know that Disney has a mandate that well, up until this Thursday, that you have to wear a mask indoors regardless of your vaccine status,
Hmm.
regardless of if you feel sick or not. And it doesn't, to me at least, make a lot of sense to complain about that and to be upset about that, knowing it's already a rule that you have to adhere to.
Then what is your prediction on this situation then? Well, now that we've opened up, we lifted this mandate up, what do you think is going to happen now? Do you think we're going to have a slight increase in cases? Do you think Disney may have to shut down for a while just to kind of recalibrate again? Or do you think they believe they got everything in, they have all their ducks in rows, I guess that's the term, be successful?
I don't think Disney will shut down. I mean, I don't think anything is really going to shut down anymore unless we have such a surge to the point where it would be something, and I hate to use this word, but like unprecedented again, where we have no idea how to combat it, and we have no idea how to tackle it and deal with it in any way, you know? And so I don't think that they'll shut down, at least, but I mean, they might reinstate an indoor mask policy, at least, if we see a big enough surge.
Mhm.
But it's hard to say, you know, because
So you so
we
wait,
do have X amount of people who are vaccinated right now. We do have X amount of people who are following the rules for their own safety, you know, whether it's mandated or if it's an optional thing. There's still a lot of people who wear masks, you know. So I'm not sure if there's even going to be a reason for them to turn it back around unless that county specifically reinstates something, or even like the relatively near future. Now that they're doing this, I mean, it's probably going to see, even though they have park reservations, possibly a heightened attendance because of this. But I don't really see them going back anytime too soon to having a mandate for indoor spaces to be masked again.
I see. I don't know. I think if they go back to mandating masks, it will cause problems, of course.
Oh, I think everybody would flip out
I
again
think
over it.
it's going to be a larger problem. And I think if Disney chooses to do it, I think it's going to be even more chaos. I don't even think Disney is willing to do it, because of what the market, like, okay, so when I say today, I mean, I'm talking about today as in February 15th, 2022, early in the morning, because it's about 10:05 where we're talking about right now. But early today, when we're looking at the market itself, one of the largest booming areas in our stock in the market today is actually Airbnb. People are willing to
Okay.
travel and do all these things. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
in Disney announcing this, I think definitely took advantage of the market situation, and I think it's a great idea. It's a smart idea to do it, but I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm afraid I'm afraid they're not even going to do it. I don't think they're actually going to consider doing a mandate. I don't think they're going to even consider it. I think if anything, worst case scenario, they're just going to make sure they have a set of lawyers already aside and just ready to, like, or we're not liable. Just like you said in the beginning, like, come to entertain yourself for on your own risk. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think that's what it's coming out. I don't see them going to mandate it again. If it like I said,
I think it would be too far of a step backwards.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a large step backwards.
For sure. For sure.
And before we get to our next guest, if you haven't already, be sure to like, follow, subscribe. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the main social media sites, and definitely on Spotify as well. We'll see you guys there. Our topic tonight is we're talking about the mandate mask lifting from Disney and Universal Studios, and we knowing you've worked with Disney in the past before. What's your take on this, man? Do you think this is a good move for them to do, or do you think this is something that's going to hurt them in the long run?
So I think it's dumb. I don't think that it's a smart decision to completely remove the mask requirements. I understand removing mask requirements outdoors. You can't enforce that at Disney World for a long period of time without people being burnt out. But not requiring them inside the queue, for a ride that's indoors, like Space Mountain, or inside of a restaurant while you're waiting to be seated, I think sounds a little reckless and irresponsible.
Okay. What's your response on that? 'Cause I think you said that wasn't you don't think it's gonna be a problem.
I think that it's going to be a problem financially for them because there's really no way to specifically center it back to Disney if you got COVID. I mean, it could have been the day that you left, or whatever. It could have been if you ordered some takeout, somebody could have given it to you. That was the delivery person. You know what I mean? I don't think that financially it will hurt them because there will be more people going. So thinking from a business aspect versus a health aspect, I don't think it's necessarily a negative.
Yeah, I think legally, I don't think that there would be any liability there. They wouldn't lose money technically. People aren't going to be able to trace it back to Disney World. I think what is going to happen though is that people are going to say, "I went to Disney World and I came back and I have COVID," and that's gonna be people saying, "Now I don't want to go to Disney World because so many people are leaving there with COVID." It can have happened. The transmission could have happened at the airport.
Exactly.
But people are just going to tie it back to Disney because you went there and that was where the largest amount of people were. And so people are just going to attribute it back to the trip. And so I think that they're going to hurt in that aspect. No one wants to be the company labeled that. And not for nothing, it's Florida's cases, aren't great.
Oh heck no, never are. Oh my God, I think I looked. It's like 8,000.
Cases aren't great. It's reckless to do that. And I should also say with the caveat, it's not just them doing it, right? Like places around the country are removing mask requirements and lifting those restrictions. And so I'm not just saying that it's Disney that's dumb. I think it is companies that are dumb or unintelligent. Maybe I'll use that word. That are unintelligent and are creating these trends. Because they feel that they're losing money, and I'm like, well, when you lose consumers because they die, don't come begging for them back.
You're exactly right. and that was the thing. Like I was, like I said, I was off earlier today, and I did mention this earlier before you got on. Today's market was booming, specifically in the Airbnb business, like the planes, the ships and cruises. There's people like they were taking polls, and there's like, oh yeah, we got plane trips already planned out to go to Europe, and I was just like, oh my God, and now Disney just announced this mass lift, and we were just talking about financial stuff like that a moment even before you got on, and I said, if the cases went up, Disney would not go back to mandating masks. I don't think they can take a step back. I don't think they'll ever do it. I think they'll have lawyers set up and ready, but I strongly believe that they will never go back to mandate a mask. I think now the world's like, screw it.
Well, and I think another thing that we haven't mentioned yet is the cast. I have a lot of friends who are cast members, and the cast is not comfortable with this.
Oh,
the cast is not comfortable with people, running up to them, touching them. Like people do those kind of things to cast members at Disney World, and they're often left out of the equation. And so they may lose some of the workforce now. That's a high implication or possibility. So. There's a lot of things to take into account with this kind of decision.
Definitely, it's like extreme. I think Chris and I we went this weekend, and we were traveling through. We were traveling after Epcot, and the art festival is happening. But you know what? Now that you mention that, I can't remember seeing cast members. I mean, like workers, like cleaners. 6 feet. Like, they were definitely 6 feet away from everyone, and they stood away from everyone. It was very limited. There was very limited number of people who were workers out. I can't I think.
you also have to understand the demographic of Disney workers. A lot of these folks are coming down to Florida to retire, and so they're working seasonal and part time.
Mm-hmm.
These folks are
Mm-hmm.
scared for people coming from all over the world, not even just the U.S. with high case rate and transmission rates, but for other people from other countries. I mean, the cast is pretty nervous.
Yeah, no, I
It makes complete sense why they are too.
don't. Well, so I don't know, dude. Were you there when Space 220 came out then?
Did I? No, I did not work there.
Okay.
Space 220 came
Oh,
out.
I mean, like, I don't know if you heard or if you did listen to our last podcast. It was very. It was. And now that you say it now, like, dude, like, how limited the number of employees and just cast members were there. I mean, maybe that was the effective reason why it wasn't good. I mean, it was a disappointment. It was not built to the hype, and I keep reading people's messages and things that people write, and they're like, Disney's magic is gone. The magic it wasn't created by just animatronics and cartoons. It was made by cast members. The interactions with cast members and that with a limited amount of people, it's gone. That magic is gone. The interaction of just pure, I like being here. That I think that's gone. It's starting to dissipate more and more. And now that you bring that up, man, I think you're right. Disney is just made a very large mistake. That definitely opened my eyes to that, man. I absolutely agree with that. Crap.
Well, and to think about just I mean, so when the pandemic happened, they laid all of these people off, and so you already have those numbers gone, and so this is going to be in addition to, and so it's just going to cause more harm and be more hurtful. And when I lived in Florida, we always had a thing where we said, you go to Universal for the attractions and to have and to scream and to have a thrill, and you go to Disney for the service and the experience. And when you aren't able to get the service any longer, because of the lower number of cast members or things of that nature, you're gonna start seeing your business.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, man. Truly, that's in that case, I think that's why they just. And today they just recently directed a president or leader, what do they call it, for their metaverse program.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, OJ, for jumping on with us tonight, man. Anytime. Thank you so much, dude. So, just to sum it up, guys, and close it up, guys. What's your idea on this idea where Disney has lifted this mask mandate? Do you guys think it's a regressive that this is going to be a regretting problem? Do you think they're going to regret this idea? I mean, OJ just definitely opened my eyes tonight about that. That's insane. Like, just thinking about that experience of human interaction, that the joy of them being there to work, kind of in giving that to people, visitors from all over the world, it's gone. And he's absolutely, and maybe that is the reason why Space 220 was the way it was in our previous episode. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I'll leave that question for you guys on Spotify, and for you guys to check that out and answer, and also on our Facebook page as well, on Panda-Sode's Cast. And just tell me what you guys think. Is this the right choice? And we'll see you next time on What the Bow.